What up, fam? Yeah, how you doing? What is going on? We are back from several days off, several days away from the studio here, and I'm back. Excited to be back to work, excited to get back to work. Got a lot going on today. I got these bottles to get out. I had a sale over the weekend here and sold about 6 bottles to various Reddit users, and I got to get those packaged up and out the door today. So, you know, these are frag head things. This is what you do. You're always shipping and receiving, and I sold enough random bottles that I wasn't going to use, probably. I sold enough to get a bottle that I really wanted, an expensive bottle, Absolute Pour the Soir by MFK. And so that is on its way. And I got these bottles going out. Picked up this bottle several days ago, got it from Joma Shop. Joma Shop was on the ball this time. This came in just a few days. And I have other bottles that I've ordered. I ordered before that have not come. The Joma Shop is like this. Sometimes it comes like that day, and then sometimes it takes weeks and weeks and weeks. So I'm waiting on a few from Joma Shop, but this one came pretty quick. It is Ambre Russe by Parfums d'Empire. Parfums d'Empire. Ambre Russe, which is Russian amber. All right. Well, let's see. I was turned on to this. Well, actually, this was on my radar, but you know who made me want to get this is Mo from Sense for Thought. Sense for Thought. Mo was just praising Ambre Russe, praising it, saying how great it is, and I said, "Oh man, I'm right on the fence here. I think I'm going to go ahead and bite the bullet and get this thing." It's not too expensive. It was a reasonable expense, I guess. But yeah, so Mo inspired the purchase. And so far, so good. I like it. This would be, you can actually see, I've actually put a bit of a dent in this thing already. Just a little tiny dent in that thing. Just trying to figure this stuff out. There's some really interesting kind of moving parts to this fragrance, and we'll get into it. In fact, let's get the notes out. Ambre Russe. So I'm a fragrance enthusiast, journaling my fragrance journey. Here we go, Ambre Russe, Parfums d'Empire. Okay, rated 4.26 out of 5, which is very high, highly rated on Fragrantica. Let's read it up. Do the write-up here. Ambre Russe by Parfums d'Empire is an oriental, spicy fragrance for women and men. Ambre Russe was launched in 2003, so it's an older fragrance, 20 plus years. The nose behind the fragrance is Marc-Antoine Cortiado. Top notes, vodka, champagne. Middle notes, cinnamon, Russian leather, tea, coriander, birch, and juniper. And in the base, we got amber, incense, and musk. In this intense elixir, the opulence of the Russian Empire is conjured by the golden warmth of ambergris, intensified by vibrant spices and the smoky aroma of Russian tea and spirituality of incense. Wow. Yeah. All right. Well, it's kind of a lot to get into here. First of all, let's talk about African leather real quick. One of the bottles I sold was African Leather by Memo. And it's not a bad scent. It's just kind of an oddball in my collection. I don't have any other Memos. I don't really love Memo, so I don't have a big collection of them. And it's like African leather, but it's not really a leather. Like it is kind of like an abstract leather. And, you know, I wasn't going to reach for it very often, and it just didn't seem to fit into my collection, so I sold it. And I think this is actually going to take that place of my oddball leather. This is going to be my oddball leather in my collection here. So, but let's get into it. The opening is wild. Vodka and champagne. It smells like booze. Let's do it. Let's spray this. This stuff is pretty interesting. So, okay, on skin. And right off the bat, champagne and vodka. You get this very boozy opening. Very boozy. And I was a little apprehensive about that. You know, I don't drink really, so I was afraid I was going to not like the opening, but the opening is nice, actually. All right, so as soon as that starts to fade, I'm getting coriander jumping out at me right at this moment. But I've worn this already a couple times and tested it a whole bunch. And what I've gathered is there are kind of 3 or 4 elements going on here. One, we have the opening, and that's kind of on its own. But then we have this battle between the Russian leather and the tea. It seems like one time I'll sniff my hand and I'll get tea. One time I'll sniff my hand, I'll get leather. And it's like tea and leather are fighting for that top spot. Underneath that is the amber. So this is not full on what I would call just an amber fragrance. This is more than just an amber. You know, I've been studying ambers, and I'm finding that you have your amber fragrances, and then you have a whole ton of fragrances that have an ambery base or have amber elements to it, but it's not the star of the show, like here. So this is an amber, but you've got Russian leather and tea fighting for the main spotlight. Underneath the dry down is like a nice leathery amber. So it's kind of like an amber with a little bit of an edge to it. It's very good, very good. I'm overall pretty pleased. And I do think that this will probably, at least for a while, stay in my collection. I'm not going to turn around and catch and release it. So I call that a blind buy win. All right. So here we have, on Fragrantica, we have AI pros and cons. These are AI constructed pros and cons based on the comments. And here we go. High quality in blended scent. Yeah, I'd say the quality of this is good. This is a high quality. This is a nice quality fragrance. Quality material is pretty good. Potent performance for formal occasions. Performance-wise, I can tell you I sprayed an awful lot of this. I probably used 10 sprays. It is, I didn't get the feeling like I was overspraying. And I do feel like I'm pretty adequately fragranced at this point. I sprayed it an hour and a half ago, just about. So potency remains to be seen, I guess, but I do like to reapply. So no biggie there. Complex amber layered with tea and tobacco. Tea and tobacco, well, no. It is a complex amber layered with tea and leather, not tobacco. I didn't get any tobacco. Warm and sultry scent, perfect for cold and winter weather. You know, actually reached for this today. It's about 40 degrees or so, 40 Fahrenheit out there. So it's pretty warm, unseasonably warm. And that's kind of part of my decision making today was this, because the tea gives this a greenness that I think would go great in like spring. So I think this fragrance might rock better in the spring, but today was a good day to bust it out and try it full wear. All right, moving right along. Boozy note that explodes from the first second. Yeah, it's very boozy. The opening is hella boozy, but it goes away within just a few minutes. Sparkling sweet amber infused tobacco scent. They keep saying tobacco. I'm not getting a ton of tobacco here. I don't see tobacco as one of the notes listed, so it may be in there, but I'm not getting much of it. Incredible longevity and powerful sillage. We already talked about that. This remains to be seen. I'm not sure about the longevity. And sillage, I'm thinking is pretty good. I'm like catching little whiffs of my trail here and there, and it smells good in the air. Oh, that was another thing Mo said. Mo was like, be sure to consider how it smells in the air and not so much off of the skin. And in the air, it really smells like a gentleman's cologne, like just in the air. I mean, I want to compare it to like an old school, something like Bois de Portugal or something like that. It has that kind of vibe. It doesn't smell like Bois de Portugal, but it has that kind of gentlemanly vibe in the air. It smells very good in the air. Moving right along, luxurious leather and wood fragrance reminiscent of a VIP train cabin. Well, I hadn't gotten that image, but sure, why not? It's a pretty good leather. It's a pretty luxurious leather. The wood, is there any wood in this at all? I don't really get much wood. So, not woody. Evocative high society Russian historical themes. You know, I'm not really interested in that side of it today, so I'm gonna skip that one. Here are some negative points. May feel dated or overly mature. This is probably not a young guy's fragrance. This is, you know, I'm an older gentleman, and this suits me just fine. But you know, my son is a college-age kid. He probably wouldn't want to wear this. Opening booze note can be harsh. I think the opening booze note probably could be a little harsh if you were sensitive to that. But it goes away super fast. Like, I didn't mind it. I was afraid I wasn't gonna like it, but it's really not. It's pretty nice, actually. Risk of becoming cloyingly sweet? No, there's no real sweetness necessarily here to be cloying. So, all right. So those are the AI pros and cons. So, all right. Let's see if they're comparing it to anything interesting that So some people, 50 people say this smells like Ambre Sultan, and then 100 people say it doesn't smell like Ambre Sultan. I don't think it smells like Ambre Sultan. I mean, if you subtract out the amber and compare that, maybe. Now here, look, someone has compared it to African leather. So that is not just me. I'm going to upvote that one. So I'm getting African leather vibes from this, which is interesting because African leather doesn't really have a very distinct leather note. It's kind of like an abstract leather. And I'm not sure why Ambre Russe reminds me of African leather, but it does. I'm not sure. So I'm smelling my hand now. And it's amber and leather. Amber and leather. So I'm not getting tea at the moment, but like I was saying, one time I'll go to smell it, I'll get tea. One time I'll go to smell it, I'll get amber. So it's one of those kind of flip-flop fragrances. Well, fam, I think we're reaching the end of our information for today. Yeah. We got Freddie Hubbard. Up jumped spring. It feels a little like spring today. It's like 40 degrees, sunny. But I know better. We got a lot of winter ahead of us still. All right, fam, I'm gonna go ahead and punch out. Happy to be back. Glad to see you guys. I want you guys to have a fantastic day. We're all gonna have a fantastic day. Let's do this. Let's have a good one, all right? We got this. All right, fam, give me a like. Peace.